I also wanted to make another video. Anonymous Book Club. I just finished a book. It was about the origins of Alcoholics Anonymous. I do work in social services, and I have worked with individuals who drink to excess, and so I thought it was a good idea to look into it. And I, it talked about the origins, the growing pains of the organization, wanting to remain true to this down-to-earth, person-to-person communication element, not in it for the money. So they weren't taking funds from anyone. And, granted, at some time, one of the founders lost their home, and it really would have been very helpful to have gotten extra funds. And they wrote the book that they call it the Big Book, and wanting to distribute that to other organizations, to other micro groups of the Alcoholics Anonymous. That could have used some funding as well. They did get a couple thousand here and there, what have you, but they really wanted it to be person to person and not for profit, and kind of learning to heal with honesty, just admitting, it talked later about how multidimensional illnesses, and how you've got the spiritual, physical, and mental, emotional element of it. And so it kind of talked about how alcoholism, they primarily, can treat with, spirituality, and trying to psychologically get in a healthier frame of mind. And so really that one, obviously you can, go through a detoxification period. There are physical elements to it, obviously, that craving, and things of that nature, but the healing from that is largely spiritual and psychological. And so they feel like that person-to-person element works, and I think that that's very intriguing. I've kind of found that to be true just growing up and having my support system. I always like to have one good friend just to talk about whatever, and to get over those hard things. Keep it small, keep it cozy. I call it my inner sanctum. Just having like a couple folks that you can just talk things through with, and no judgments and things like that. And so I see where it's coming from. I like the idea of they actually delve into spirituality and those bigger notions, those perennial thoughts. And I think that that's a great way to bring purpose to people, as about healing, about the greater good, about those passages and those meaningful ideas that really make life worth living. And they talk about them, and they use them to build themselves and to build each other up. And I think that that's great through personal experience, through whatever spirituality you've got. And I think that that's really, really great. I love reading and pulling from those perennial notions, and talking about it and delving into it. And I feel like that's a great way to find purpose and to share purpose with people. And so I feel like if you are hurting, that is a great way to start that conversation and just say, oh, this is exactly, and then like pull it into, like what you're going through and what, your friends are going through. And obviously they're on that journey with you. And so it's, or if they're not your friends, these like-minded people who are going through something comparable, I've lived through that as well. When the friend group isn't getting it, who are you going to turn to next? And so figuring that out, and looking at those things that are more important and that are going to move everyone forward, move you forward, move society forward, and just help people. And I think that that's really important. So it was actually a very cool book to talk about an organization meant for good. Obviously, a lot of scientists and psychiatrists were like, "Oh well, I've healed maybe one or two alcoholics. You got how many in your rhetoric?" And so, but there was some sass and immaturity, and of course, a lot of criticism there as well. But and they're not even saying, they kind of say, it is what you make of it. If you're ready, if you hit rock bottom and you can share, you can be humble. then you can move forward if you are willing to admit that, you know, you got problems, this is not good. This is, and so I think that that's really cool and really important, to be able to move forward in the healing process. And so there, they do say, it really depends on the person and the support system and things like that. But I thought it was very interesting, and talked about the origins, and then it had kind of an analysis of the sociological, cultural, atmosphere at the time. It was like 30s through the 50s that they were talking about the development and growth of the organization. It also talked more about the process of, the ideology, and I thought that was very well written. So it was very cool. Kudos. I think that I did learn a lot. It made me think as well. So pretty cool. All right. Have a great day. Bye. Oh, if you are interested in what book it was, if you want to learn more, let me know and I will tell you more about it. Bye.